Chapter 4. After 5 days in isolation, I came to a sad conclusion. I think I may have made a mistake. Maybe telling the Foundation that I wanted to play with more of their SCPs after I clearly used one to gain power was a bad decision. Oops. Though the isolation did help me in realizing a couple of things. For example, the fact that changes made to me by the concept of domination also affected my personality. It should have been clear after I backtalked to the Foundation without shitting my pants, but I guess I can be forgiven for not realizing I was different so soon after clearing the tranquilizer from my body. Something about my thought process changed. I no longer cared for a lot of things I think I cared for before meeting 738. My rationality had been affected in a way it would have worried me before, but didn't care enough about now. Also, I'm pretty sure anyone else would have been affected by being in a completely white room, with no human contact, with no entertainment, for 5 days. To me it felt like I was just in a bank waiting for a teller to call my number. Maybe that had to do with the fact that my powers kept me entertained. I didn't try to break out of the room. Though, really, I just wanted to see in how many ways I could exert domination. Being out of the cell would not change that. So while the Foundation preoccupied themselves with whatever they did, I practiced dominating myself. I still haven't found a way to reinforce myself, but controlling my body was easy before. I had read somewhere that Superman had some kind of extreme muscle control. I guess I had something similar, just that my control extended to all body. Being able to look right and left at the same time was fun. I wasn't limited to muscle control though. I could pretty much control my flesh in ways I was pretty sure were gross to look at. I'm not really sure how normal people would react to this. I had not made myself grow eyes or more teeth, but to someone observing me using my powers to open my skin to get a look at my muscles must have looked pretty ugly. Was I some type of discount browbeat? Maybe I could also use it on other people, so discount panacea? The Foundation was making me wait way longer than what I thought they would. Maybe they were already testing me. The lack of food was telling. I did get hungry, but I never felt an uncomfortable level of hunger. How did that work? As far as I can tell, I still have a body, and that means I have needs. I was now trying to somehow dominate the wall and be an earthbender XP. I felt like the walls were resisting me. Maybe this was because the wall was connected to some concepts like resistance. Or perhaps it was built with anomalous materials and was just naturally resistant to reality bending effects. I didn't want to believe this was because I was bad at using domination. Granted, I've had it for around 5 days. How did I know it was 5 days? But something in me screamed at the idea of me not being able to dominate domination. Was I so prideful I couldn't admit I couldn't control my own power yet? Shit, I have to look out for that now too. With all the SCPs running around the universe, I could not let some dem pride get me killed. Pride cometh before the fall and all that. The speaker finally turned on. I was thankful that they were at least going to talk to me. I was very bored at the moment. SCP-12725, we would like to ask additional questions. Do you mind? I did not mind at all. This was breaking the monotony of just using my powers. I don't mind, ask away. Oh, you can. Also just call me Gabriel. SCP-12725 is just a mouthful. SCP-12725, we would like it if you could extrapolate what you meant by us not minding you playing with other SCPs. Shush, why the harsh treatment? I hadn't even tried to punch the door or the walls to see how durable my hand was. Why were they so ungrateful? Well, you obviously have D-class personnel, whatever that means, interact with magical items. I want to keep doing that, at least for a while. We do not interact with magical items. The thaumaturgy branch does sometimes. Shut up, Carl. What? Magic existed in the SCP universe? Holy shit, I did not know that. Also, I'm pretty sure I was not supposed to hear those whispers. As I was saying, we do not go around letting D-class just interact with SCPs. Why would we even let you do that? Last time you did, you were supposed to just make a simple deal with 738 and tell us about it. Instead you disappeared for nearly 15 minutes, made a deal, and caused us a bunch of new issues. I did. Sorry for that, but I did tell you about the SCP and the deal, did I not? You were vague, did not tell what the price was, and now we need to do additional experiments on 738. Because apparently it can give out powers. Ungrateful bastards. I did exactly what they asked of me and I haven't caused any issues, aside from the additional experiments they have to do on 738. Hey now, don't get angry at me. I have been compliant with y'all ever since I woke up in the big cell with the other D-class guys. I could have easily tried to escape on the second day of isolation. You guys had me in. Do the fellas in D-class not have rights anyway? Why am I still locked up here? My only answer was more silence. This motherfucker, were testing my patience? Wait, did they want to know how patient I was? I knew that if I wanted to be considered a safe SCP I'd have to compromise a lot of things. I did not think my level of patience was going to be put to the test. I sighed. They were clearly done questioning me. I thought there would be more questions though. With nothing else to do, this time I tried to dominate the air around me. All I felt was a connection being made between the air and me, but no airbending yet. It did feel like I would sooner or later manage to control this one element though. Hooray! POV, Site Director, Dr. Jean Carlisle Actus reading the report of SCP-12725 was rapidly becoming headache-inducing. It was like dealing with SCP-074 for the first time all over again. Fucking reality benders. How did no one thought about SCP-738 being capable of creating new SCPs? It was obvious if you thought about it. Now we have a crazy redhead meditating in a room and we only know it is some type of close-range reality bender, and we have to come up with a better containment plan for 738. Reading over the highlighted questions of the interviews made my eyebrows rise. It wanted to help in more SCP research. In the camera recordings before he entered 738's room it looked spooked to hell and back. Why was it confident all of a sudden about interacting with other SCPs? Many anomalies that used to be human are either unresponsive, extremely aggressive, or scared of other anomalies. What was up with 12,725? We didn't even have containment procedures for it and it already wanted to get out of its cell. Its comment about escaping on the second day was a bit concerning. Did it really believe it had enough power to escape if it wanted? Maybe it thought it was in a normal prison. An initial psych evaluation theorizes it is not happy nor sad about being in the cell. It mostly appears to be indifferent to its current situation, almost bored. So maybe it hadn't done anything to escape, not because it couldn't but because it didn't care. The scientists that did the psychological evaluation weren't really sure about their findings though. If 12,725 was a reality bender like what we suspected it to be, it either should be on phase 1 or still at phase 0. Why was it already at phase 2? It just skipped the other 2 stages immediately. Director, Dr. Hollister Cox called from the door. What should we do about 12,725? More interviews. I just sighed and leaned back on my chair. What else can we do for now? And so, I hope this clears some questions many people had about why he was being so open to the Foundation. He is no longer human, he no longer thinks like one. Why should he care if the Foundation knows what he can do? He will slowly become an embodiment of domination and the only thing the Foundation could do about it is to kill him before he does. Unfortunately for the Foundation, they have this little tradition of not killing SCPs, so, yeah. Chapter 5. You know, the Foundation has an annoying habit of interrupting me when I'm in the middle of trying to find out how to reinforce myself. It doesn't do it while I'm controlling the air around me, when I'm just relaxing or when I'm learning to use the Force. It magically always does it when I am trying to figure out boost. So what you are saying is that I will be allowed to interact with more SCPs only if I accept to be caged in here whenever testing ends. Were they high or something? Why would I accept such a dumb deal? No way, Jose. Look, the cell is nice and all, but it's starting to become boring. I don't know if you have been locked up before for any amount of time, but I am running out of things to try out and I haven't watched an ounce of TV for a long time. That was technically a lie. I could stay in this cell for the next 5 months and still have stuff to do, but why would I do that? I know I can't go back to my normal life since I don't look how I did before. Even if I did, people would be confused about my changed personality. It sounded like a pain in the ass to go back to normal society. I heard a sigh from the speaker. What would you like us to do about that? I heard some paper shuffling. You have proven yourself untrustworthy. What do you mean I am untrustworthy? The only thing I've done is what you asked me to do. I made a deal with the devil for y'all. Were they really bringing this up again? You know that's not what I meant. 12,725. You have made a lot of people worried. And what should I do about that? How do I make myself trustworthy? I am already offering you my help. I thought any government would be happy to receive paranormal help of any kind. First of all, the Foundation is not part of any government. Second of all, while we would certainly like more researchers, troopers, and capable people to help us, SCPs have shown themselves to be dangerous over and over again. And what of it? You don't believe I can't do any good. You know that's not the reason you are still locked up as you put it. Dr. Eugene sounded genuinely sorry I was locked up. Hey, is there really nothing I can do to make myself trustworthy? I was sure that by now I had enough understanding of my power to break out of the site. You could start by explaining how you got into the facility in the first place. Claiming to not remember anything does not help your case 12725. Hey, I could answer that. I was slowly remembering more and more things. With better clarity. Trying to dominate my own mind had really been a good idea. I remember now, Yug. I was super drunk and attacked some of your guys in black. Sorry about that? I really was sorry. Who knew I would be an angry drunk though? Guys in black. You know, the guards, they use black armor, black boots, black clothes. They are basically walking shadows. They really should add some color to their uniforms. They looked bland. Right, why were you so drunk and where were you before the attack? I went partying with some friends to a random bar. It was somewhere around Salem. Eugene hummed for a while. There was more paper shuffling. I wondered what took them so long to ask those questions. They had asked them once on like the 7th day I was here and hadn't asked since. We found your previous identity. It states you lived in Nashville. What were you doing in Salem? Paranoid much? A friend of mine called Jack, that I hadn't seen since high school, invited me and a couple of more friends to his place. Playing Cards Against Humanity with Jack was nice. He was a bit unhinged, so he came up with really messed up stuff sometimes. Okay, 12,725, thank you for answering. This helps your case a bit. Thank you to Eugene. Having some human interaction is way better than being locked up doing nothing. Hey, do you think you could get me a better deal? I really just want to get out of here without causing y'all and myself more issues. Dr. Eugene was silent for a couple of seconds. I knew he hadn't left yet because the speaker was still on. Though if he hurried up and got me a better deal, I wouldn't complain about how much time it took him to come up with an answer. I will try to see if they can be more complacent with your restrictions. I do not think anything will come out of my attempt, but hey, I'll try. Yug was sometimes nice to me. I do not know why he was this nice to me though. Maybe he was sympathetic to my situation? Or was it pity? I'd be more happy if you just called me Gabriel or Gabe. Being called 12,725 so many times is going to make me start responding to that unconsciously. No can do 12,725. Just be happy the director is not trying to kill you yet and wait some more. I'm sure the Foundation can find a use for you sooner rather than later. A use for me, not my freedom, I noted. Also, was he threatening me? It felt too casual for a threat, so maybe he was just joking with me. Sure. Whatever you say, man. Have a nice day. The speaker in the corner turned off and silence surrounded me again. POV, Dr. Eugene Baker. As I walked away from 12,725's observational room, I whipped some sweat off my forehead. Talking with 12,725 was always a challenge. Its ability to just exert some kind of pressure on anyone he directed his attention to or was around it made it very hard not to be somewhat compliant with its requests. It wasn't that he made people subservient to him or mind-controlled you into doing what he wanted. But damn if it wasn't hard preventing that instinctual reflex to be obedient around him from activating. It got even worse when he asked direct questions. It was like the universe wanted you to just do what he wanted, be it giving some answers or following an order. Fortunately, once you left his area of influence, all effects his aura had would just disappear. Walking down a hallway, I waved to some of the other doctors that were still inside their labs. We were trying to find a way to scan SCP-12725's area of influence. If we discovered how to replicate a really weak version of it, we could better our amnestics. I walked into my lab and started editing 12,725's file again. Should I really send an appeal to the director to decrease 12,725's restrictions? No, I shouldn't. I still wasn't thinking straight. I wonder if we could ask other sites for some more types of mind-controlling negation devices. Clearly, what we had at the moment did not work on 12,725's weird form of manipulation. A bit worrying, but we had protocols for this type of situation. I began to replay the interview in my head again. Was it a really bad idea to ask for more leniency for 12,725 though? Really, he didn't even seem aware he was excluding his aura. More people from the thaumaturgy branch had been asked to come to Site-81, and a few seemed to think SCP-12725 was not aware of what he was doing to others. Maybe I should confront him about it. POV, Dr. Aurelia Baldovini. SCP-12725's testing continued to be useless. We couldn't find anything about it with divination, trying to interact with it, or with diagnosis or identifying spells. The big lab our group had been given was filled with papers on theories of 12,725's powers, but we couldn't prove any of them at the moment. It certainly was a type red. One with expanding regeneration, though its status as a type green was in question. It was quite a conundrum. We were tasked with finding what speciality this type green had, but it appeared it wasn't one. Most reality benders did not appear to know what they were doing. Some only knew that they affected whatever was around them in weird ways. SCP-12725 seemed to know what he was doing and how. He also practiced with his powers. Reality benders did not do that. 12,725 was learning, growing. That was worrying. The Foundation already had one case of a reality bender who kept growing in strength and at the moment had no idea what it was doing. Granted, the man was psychotic, so he probably just killed himself at one point thinking it was dead or something. Backtracking a bit, I walked towards Dr. Marcellini Emil's desk. So what do you think? She looked at me warily. You might be right about it not being a conventional type green. I do not know about it not being one though. Why is that? It clearly does not act like one. Plus, it made a deal for its powers. He didn't gain them. She looked down at some of her notes. Should we just carry an interview with it? And feel all that pressure just crushing us where we stand? No thank you. Some of the normies say it feels even worse when he talks directly to you. But they also say it's growing stronger, right? We may not have a chance to do it if we wait much longer. For its aura to have grown so powerful in only a month means its rate of growth is outstanding. That was true, even the non-magical humans in the site were starting to feel 12,725's presence whenever they were close to it. Do we have any spells that we haven't tried to direct the pressure away? Nope. We have tried at least 21 different spells and none of them have worked. Dr. Glenn Stroud shouted from the corner he was in. He was working on some parchment with another 3 more doctors and 1 newbie. What are you trying now? Maybe I could give some perspective. We have given up on spells. We will begin to try rune matrices. This one will work on the mind of whoever is using it. Instead of fighting off SCP-12725's presence, we will try to make whoever uses the matrix completely unaware of 12,725's presence. With it on, Neville might be able to walk around the site without passing out. That had been an issue when we first got here. 12,725's presence had been too strong for Neville. He was an exceptionally strong sensor. Unfortunately, he was rather inexperienced in dealing with presences this strong and passed out quite frequently. He had steadily become better at resisting the pressure, but he still passes out if he walks too close to 12,725's cell. Well, good luck with that. I heard Dr. Eugene muttering something about an annoying manipulating aura on my way here. Fucking damn it. First the unbearable pressure, and now he also manipulates people around him? How are we going to counteract the pressure and the manipulation if whoever uses the matrix becomes unaware of both? Language dumbing all. About 5 people chorused. And I am once again asking for your help. Should I try to speed run his containment time? I could be writing so much more interesting stuff if Gabe had some semblance of freedom. Site-81 itself has some interesting SCPs. But if I do that, I run the risk of skipping how he has learned to control some of the powers he might manifest down the line. Also, some people seem to want a picture for Gabe's appearance. I am too picky with appearances to actually choose one, and Gabriel is basically a shapeshifter, so a base image wouldn't matter much. ___/ if any of y'all finds a spelling mistake, has questions, has some criticism, or whatever, Please leave a comment. I enjoy reading them. Anyway, thanks for reading. P.S. The poll has made it abundantly clear that y'all want more story than Omax cries in Spanish, so I'm going to try to write more chapters.